Lohbado had an old pickup truck and enough severance pay to keep him going for a year. He drove to get away from the anxiety, driving to escape being driven insane, driving to escape torment, anxiety, harassment, disturbing memories. Welcome to Lohbado Channel, the place of sight and sound. Today's episode is Moira's Farm, an ongoing narrative. It takes place not long after Lohbado lost his job as a push-button expert for the Department of Regulation. He was driving across the plains of radiation. He was road weary. He pulled over at a crossroads in the countryside. And he went in and ordered a cup of coffee. He was sitting there reflecting on things, just enjoying the afternoon. And he kept making eye contact with a woman who's maybe 35 years old, dark eyes, dark hair. They kept making eye contact, so finally she came and sat at his table. Lohbado was 40 at the time. And they got talking. Lohbado told her that he was drifting, had no destination in particular. He'd lost his job a while ago, and he was just trying to sort things out in his mind. And she said, well, she was looking for somebody because nobody wanted to work on her farm anymore. So Moira said, if you need a job, I'm looking for somebody. And Lohbado said, sure. So this episode is how Lohbado began working on Moira's farm. During his first day working on the farm, Moira asked him to use the rototiller to loosen up the earth between the rows and between the plants in the vegetable garden, a mixed garden of cabbage, carrots, onions, potatoes. Lohbado had not slept the night before because he drank a lot with Moira's father. Lohbado wasn't particularly a heavy drinker, but he just decided to be sociable, and he stayed up late and then got up early to work, and his head was splitting. Suddenly, he discovered someone. There's a man, Bobo. His name is Bobo. He's living in a hole under the bush at the edge of the ravine just beyond the garden. The garden stretched towards the crest of a ravine. At the far end of the garden, a man got up. Lohbado hadn't noticed him until he stood to his feet. He said, my name is Bobo. I'm no longer one of the pee-pee. I used to be one of them, the plastic people. Lohbado told Bobo that he used to work as a push-button expert for the Department of Regulation. And Bobo said he had a plastic stomach and used to eat plastic. With positive visualization, Bobo could have anything. The first time I ate plastic, I was able to extrude via the lower digestive tract a toothbrush and toothpaste. I ate and produced plastic products, then went on a special juice fast and took miracle pills that made the stomach grow back. So now I can eat normal food like spaghetti and peanut butter sandwiches. I extruded a toothbrush and toothpaste, and then I brushed my teeth. I hadn't brushed them in a few days, and it felt good to brush my teeth. Bobo had a plastic stomach, but then eventually a real stomach grew inside the plastic stomach, so it was like a mold for his natural stomach to grow back, thanks to the miracle pills. After his first day, they sat in the kitchen. They'd had a nice supper of lentil soup and vegetables and salad and rye bread, dill pickles, and she wanted to give him an orientation to see how he felt after his first day. Are you going to stay, or are you going to take off like all the other people? Are you going to make trouble or get wrong ideas? She wanted to set things straight for him, orientation. She told him to watch out for Bobo McCoy. Lohbado didn't tell her that he had seen Bobo. He didn't want to open a can of worms. Moira told him that she'd had a lot of duds on her farm who came across as eager workers, but then they didn't want to work. And then she had guys who were totally out of line. Lyle, for example, felt as though because I was a woman, I should enjoy his advances. I told him to leave. I made a mistake of sleeping with one arrogant worker who didn't want to use a condom, and then I got pregnant and had an abortion. He was good looking. I slept with him just for the novelty of sleeping with such a good looking man, but he treated women like shit. I like a man who makes me feel good. I got rid of him fast. As for my dad, he lives in that shack over there. Just don't go near him. Well, you were already out drinking with him, so you have an idea what he's like. I had a blowout with the old man. His drinking took over. He devolved into an extreme slob. We solved the problem. He moved into the shack where he can roll around like a pig in shit. Actually, my pigs are clean and much better company than any of the drifters who said they didn't want to work on my farm no more. I learned to read men. They give signals. Let them talk long enough and they'll reveal their true character. If you catch them off guard, they give off signals. Sometimes through their eyes, a lot is revealed. After Lohbado had been there 3 months, he was used to the routine. Every day, Moira gave him a list of tasks. It could be anything from driving a truck to do deliveries in town, deliveries of eggs, pulling weeds, cutting the grass. There were always things to do. She only made him work about 4 hours a day, and then the rest of the day he was free to relax. Her only concern, she made it clear that she did not tolerate meanness or disrespect. Lohbado understood, without her even having to say anything, the animals there were her companions. She had no intention of slaughtering them. She had 2 pigs, a couple cows, a goat and a horse, a dog, and a couple cats. They went for long walks in the afternoon, especially when it was hot. There were plenty of lakes and streams around where they could relax in the shade or bathe in a calm lake. Her father had reached a point where he could devote himself full-time to drinking, and she wouldn't interfere because he was a quiet drunk. He behaved himself. He signed over all the papers. Everything was in her control.